Okay, kindergarten screening. Mr. Fridley is going to report on kindergarten screening that took place the week of April 17th.
Monday at Mark Twain, Tuesday at Truman, Wednesday at Wyman.
Yeah, Tuesday, Wednesday.
That's right.
Monday,
That's right.
Tuesday,
You remember
Wednesday.
in fact, we're going to revisit the slideshow from
Yeah.
the previous presentation. Do I need to click on something to make it work there? Do I need to go? Okay. That's all right. First of all, I want to say thank you for letting me come back this evening to revisit kindergarten registration. I actually have the same presentation, but I've added the data to the end of it. I'll go pretty brief tonight, but I think it's important to revisit kindergarten registration and the changes we made this year. First and foremost, I want to thank Dr. Zales for allowing me the opportunity to modify the way we presented kindergarten registration this year. As you know, we changed the format, and we'll talk about the outcome this year. I want to say thanks to Laura Brown. Laura put in countless hours making sure that kindergarten registration worked well. I'm proud to have her as a colleague, and she was crucial to the success of our kindergarten registration. Her work and the work of PAT and all the countless volunteers and staff members that are part of it. It doesn't work without all the help that we receive. So thank you. And Delinda Gilardi upstairs, if you've ever worked with Delinda, you know she's meticulous, and she made it work really well. This is the presentation that I brought to you before kindergarten registration. Traditionally, it was a 2-day event. We moved it this year to actually a 3-day, and then we added Friday to it. Monday was Mark Twain, Tuesday Truman, Wednesday Wyman, and then Friday we finished up. So even got the F for Friday in there. That was pretty good. This year it worked out pretty well. I can tell you that's the elementary in me. It happens. Very thankful for the help to get it going, and it worked really well. Kindergarten registration took place on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of that week, and then on Friday we wrapped up. The time seemed to work really well this year. One of the things that we've done is take notes. We always take notes about kindergarten registration to make sure there isn't something we need to change to help families out. After all, the intent is to make this as easy for families as possible and to get our students in here. We asked for people to call and make appointments, and they did. So the total number of students screened was 257 students. This year, the average wait time for families was shortened to about 45 minutes or so. In the past, we've had families that have gone as long as an hour and a half because of backup and because of a large number of appointments at one time. So it was nice to see families come in. The child wasn't completely overwhelmed after being away from mom and dad for a long period of time. Which I think was a good thing for families.
When you say wait time, you mean?
The amount of time it took from a child coming in the registration table, us taking the child back to screen, and the family sitting in the boardroom waiting on their child to come back, and for us to counsel with the family to let them know, welcome to kindergarten. The cost to the district. I'm sorry, did you have another question?
No.
Okay.
I said cool.
Okay, right. The cost to the district this year was around $49.48. The overall cost of the last 4 years was around $9,500. So as you can see, we saved the district about $4,600 this year on changing the model. So not only did it change the way that families interacted with us, but we were also able to save some money. Parents came into a Rolla Public Schools building and had the opportunity to meet their building level administrators. Each of us was here on our building day. Dr. Ray and Mrs. Harris were here on their days as well. We had a personal conversation with many of the families. For some, this is their first opportunity to come to Rolla Public Schools, and for some, they already knew us. But it was great to have presentations where we could speak specifically to our building and answer questions, everything from how to drop your child off to how's it going to be on the very first day. So it was great. Good opportunity to visit with families and build that rapport that we all hopefully have with our families. Average dial score, I've presented this every year. It floats. The average dial score this year, that's the assessment that we give, was about a 50.15. We've seen everywhere from 43 to 53 or 54, as you can see up there, over the years. I don't know that we track the data on the dial score. We haven't done any long-term studies on how it impacts students down the road, but it's great to have that in case we decide to, if somebody has a doctorate they're working on and they want to do something like that. So 30% of all students reported they had no preschool. So we polled them whenever we asked them to register for kindergarten registration. We wanted to find out
Here it comes.
whether or not they had attended kindergarten, a preschool. I'm going to, you want me to keep moving or you want me to hold on?
You're gonna need a bigger bucket.
Yeah. I think that's high
There's one
on
above your
the
head too, Aaron.
You
You're
want
gonna
it
need
down?
another one.
No, you don't have to move. How I see why you stuck me. Put the new kid.
They put the new person in the chair where the water came in. There we go.
That's usually your chair. That used to be your
Usually where
chair.
we are.
Yeah.
That's usually our spot.
But that's a first for you.
That was a first for me. I will say that I've never been interrupted by water coming from the ceiling, but hopefully we can address that.
Well,
this
there's
summer.
we're not direct access to the roof outside, so it's an air conditioning unit. That's
Sure.
Condensation, just to be publicly abundantly clear.
Understood. Obviously, we've got something to address, and we'll take care of it. So there we go. As you can look, one of the things we try to do as a result of our work for kindergarten registration, we know that not all families go to kindergarten registration. So our goal is to look at the data that we've collected over the years and determine approximately how many students we will have in kindergarten. In order to determine, do we have the correct number of teachers? Do we need to move teachers to another grade level? As of right now, our projected estimates for next year up there, we're looking at everywhere from 17.6 to 21 students per classroom. When you look at historical data, we're looking at, based on some of the other methods we use, including live birth rate, we're looking at anywhere from 326 to 331 students that will attend. Mr. Henshaw handles the estimates with regard to class sizes, but our hope is to keep those numbers approximately where they are, as you well know, and start the kindergarten year.
How many students did we screen again?
We screened a total of 257 students. 16 of those students were from St. Patrick's here in town. And I do know that Laura Brown has offered to screen students. We're actually, we tried to get everyone to go to kindergarten registration, but if parents call and they talk about it, I know that Laura has offered up services to screen some more students. Our goal is to get them all in kindergarten registration and to go through the process so that when we start making classes, we can build classes with an equal distribution of students. But as we all know, people move in or maybe they don't hear about it this way. Throughout the summer, we may have some more students in late July that we'll be able to add to our roster as well.
So you think we
Yes.
got pretty much all but 60? I lost the number up there.
Yeah, sure. We screened 257. Out of those, about 241 were Rolla Public School students. So we're looking at approximately, about 70 students that
We-
didn't go through, approximately.
We historically, every year, hit between 70 and 90
Yeah.
that we get that didn't come through registration. As we
Average
look
the
at-
last 12 years has been 78.
Yeah.
70 what?
78.
And it's important to note that we will still work, if we could get those students to come in before we start school, it helps to build a class. We get an equal distribution of kids, and it's a great way for families to get all their information in and not have to sit at open house and fill it all out. We can get that all collected. So I hope that people will, if they know individuals that move in or if they know someone who missed out on registration, that they will communicate that to them. So,
They also have the opportunity to sign up for summer school, I would assume, if they.
correct. We work diligently at kindergarten registration to encourage families to attend our summer school. And I don't have the numbers exactly how many students have signed up, but it was a significant number of students that will be going to summer school this year. So it's great to get them in the building, get them acclimated to how school works, and it's a great way for families to understand what we do here at Rolla Public Schools.
So Matt, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
So if we have a kindergarten screening students at another school and then they transfer here before the school year starts, does that information just transfer with them?
What we've done in the past, in other words, if a student is, say, Waynesville or another district, we will take the data that we receive and use it. the primary reason we have kindergarten registration, I mean, it's great to have the dial scores, that's an important piece, but we also need all the data from families, where do you live, can you give us the address and those kinds of things. So to speak to that, we would take the dial score and those things and utilize it. But the key factor for kindergarten registration is getting all the information we need for transportation so we can determine bus routes and help make sure that, families are provided with the services that they need. And classrooms, ultimately, to determine do we have enough classrooms or too many in kindergarten. So, any other questions tonight? I appreciate your time tonight.
Now, did we ask when they come in how they knew about kindergarten registration?
I honestly did not ask that question, and that's a great thing to look at next year, would be to ask families how the preferred method. We, this year, utilized social media, everything from Facebook and Twitter. We also, I know Dr. Zellis was on the radio, and we had an article in the paper as well. So we try to put it out there as much as we possibly can. Many of us use our, talk to our current families in our building, send out a messenger, a school messenger message to families to try to encourage them, because many of them know other families who have children. And also we coordinate with our local daycares and preschools. And I know Laura Brown and her work with PAT, they were able to encourage many families to come in. So it was a great way to build up our number of students. But as always, we always have a group of students that don't make it through kindergarten registration. So hopefully we'll catch them this summer.
Maybe there's a question we could ask those 78 that didn't get registered, how we could reach them, how we could have reached them. Maybe that'll help us.
Note to self, right here. We'll work on it the first week of school when those students arrive. We'll figure out, we'll ask them,
Where you been?
what could we have done to reach you over the summer?
That's two questions. Have you had preschool and how can we?
There's three. We'll be up to three. How did you hear about it for those? And also, what can we do to reach you? Most certainly, I think those are great points to look at as we look for kindergarten registration next year as well. All right.
Okay,
Cool, thanks.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, thank you,
Appreciate your
Matt.
time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Good job.
yeah, great.